everybody, welcome back to my channel. Welcome back to Unchurched Talk with the T. As always, I'm always trying to give you that spiritual tea. So today we're talking about mental illness in the church, which in my opinion, I think that it's an underserved topic. Many believers suffer from mental illness. You could be a pastor, you could be a priest, you could be a deacon in the church, you can be a mother, you can be anybody that believes and loves God and still suffer from mental illness. And I often think that it's often overlooked, and a lot of us don't know what to do when somebody mentally ill comes in the church. Okay, do I believe you can be set free from mental illness? Absolutely. But what if you're not? Okay, so what do you do? So first of all, what is mental illness? It is when one suffers in the mind. People don't wake up one day and say, hey, I want to be mentally ill. But unfortunately, some of us do deal with mental illness. I myself have bouts of depression. So me, and being a person who works in behavioral health, I know the signs. First of all, I can know them in myself and in my training. So I have to be proactive, okay, in knowing the signs of mental illness within myself. My mother suffered from mental illness, and I'm going to share with you that story later in this video. But let's talk about some signs of mental illness. These are some signs of mental illness, okay? Abusive, sexually, physically, verbally, aggressiveness, lack of hygiene, hyperverbal, isolation from people, places, overly spiritual, childlike behavior in being an adult, unable to manage your daily living. You may hear voices or see things. They call it visual hallucinations or auditory hallucinations, hearing voices, being paranoid, suicidal, depression, being a sexual predator, signs of narcissism. And those are some, just to name a few. Now you may ask, do I personally believe that a person can be healed from mental illness? Absolutely. And I believe that that person is high in their faith. That person is dealing with their mental illness. They are not in denial that they was mentally ill at a time. They're doing the work, because everything that we suffer from can be healed. But one thing that we have to learn is faith without works is dead. Once we're delivered, once we're healed, how do we remain healed? It's by doing the work. It's by staying free of whatever is trying to bind you. One thing that we have to understand, we're not talking about delivered people. We're talking about people that are suffering from mental illness and not able to advocate for themselves. They're not getting the help that they need. They're showing the signs that we're talking about. They're not taking care of their kids. They're showing all types of erratic behavior. Those are the people that need help. And they could be our family members. They could be our church members. They could be our pastor. They could be anybody that is not able to reach out for themselves to get the help that they need. They can be a mother with children. They can be very abusive in their relationship. But they're suffering from some type of mental illness. So what do we do? So now I want to talk about my own personal story. I'm not going to come to you as a person that works in behavioral health, which I do. My own mother suffered from mental illness. First of all, we was in denial. We ignore all the signs. She wasn't taking care of herself. Her hygiene was poor. She, was giving her money away. She just couldn't take care of herself. She was very paranoid. She was very hyperverbal, as I talked about. And she still loved God. I mean, her faith was strong in God, but she was suffering. And it took really somebody to call on her. And that is when it forced us to advocate for her to get the help that she needed. First of all, it is never easy to help someone that is not able to help themselves get stabilized for mental illness. My mother was a very strong-willed person. She was a very educated person. Mental illness has nothing to do with education. It's just something that people suffer from. But through getting the help, through allowing us to help her, to advocate for her coming out of denial and realizing that maybe I do need help. Maybe I need to do everything that I need to do so that I can get stabilized and get the help that I need. And that's what she did. She was able to come out of denial and say, yes, I suffer from mental illness and I need help. Okay, so let's go all the way back to the topic, mental illness in the church. There are some that's going to come to the church looking for help, looking to be delivered. Some will be delivered, but some won't. So what do we do? How do we handle that? Do we let those people loose among the congregation, give them all types of positions, and they are not addressing their mental illness? They will become prey. Those are the people that become financially extorted, raped, because they are mentally ill. There are some that do the perpetrating. Why? Because they're mentally ill and nobody is doing anything about it. They're not doing the right things about it. So let's talk about what to do. Some of the ways that we can help those who are mentally ill, who suffer from mental illness, is by encouraging them to get the help that they need. Whether it's talking to their family members, whether it's going with them to appointments, whether it's making sure that they are taking their medication if they're prescribed. Maybe you may have to call 911 and so they can get hospitalized if you see that they are in danger to themselves. But you have to become involved, okay? Because they can be a danger to not just themselves, but others. Okay, so now we're at the close of this video. If you know someone and they're in your church or a family member or a friend that is suffering from mental illness, you've tried to help them, to pray with them, fast with them, do everything that you possibly know to do. You financially help them and they're getting worse. What do? You have to reach out. You have to realize that you are not all inclusive and that they need professional help. It could be through a mental health services, a community mental health services, could be a hospital where they will hold them for at least 48 hours to get a psychiatric evaluation, or call this mental health hotline, 1-800-662-HELP, to get the help that they need. I hope this is a blessing to you. And guess what? I'll see you on the next video with Unchurched Talk with the T. You be blessed. Don't forget to like and subscribe. See you next time to Unchurched Talk with the T.